Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. Welcome to this brand new video where I will be walking you through the test cases. I have already written a blog post around this. I have shared a mind map as well. But in this video, I will try to take you through the details that I have mentioned in that mind map. So let's get started. So what we are going to cover here, I will just touch upon what is a test case, what are the critical ingredients or things that you need to know in order to write test cases, and in conclusion I will share some food of thoughts based on my experience. So with that, let's get started. Now before I read out the definition here, one thing I would like to understand here is, you can find any definition, I mean various definition on internet about test cases. Most important or crucial part in my opinion is you need to understand what that definition tells you. The more you understand the significance of each word or term mentioned in that, you will get the better idea about it and you will be able to use it in a better way in your context. So with that, let's get started with the definition. What is test case? A test case describes the sequence of input actions, a set of input values, execution preconditions, and an expected response to determine whether feature of an application is working correctly or not. Now let's try to read it one more time in pieces and try to understand the meaning of it. A test case describes the sequence of input actions. So let's say if you have a web application right in front of you, just try to imagine that way. And you, as a user, you are trying to do certain actions. You are log into application, then you are clicking some menu. So these are the sequence of events that you are trying to do. Okay, so those sequence of events we are referring here. A set of input values. Now let's say after logging into a web application, you see some form and you try to enter some values in specific fields. So you maybe enter alphabets, you maybe enter numbers, or maybe you enter special characters or anything as and when applicable in that respective context. So that is nothing but a set of input values is being referred in this definition. An execution precondition. So what could be the precondition that comes to your mind? Maybe let's say you are a user with certain authorization and authentication in that context, or maybe some configuration setting within that application. That could be your execution preconditions. And an expected response. So now as a tester, when you test something, you perform this set of actions, provide certain inputs in certain preconditions, certain setup, and you expect an application to behave in certain way. So that is what is your expected response. And once you do that, you see a output of an application, that is the actual result. If it matches with the expected one, that means its test case is pass. And if it doesn't match, then test case fails. And of course there is something we need to look at, and we need to report a bug or bugs or anything that is required to address that. We need to do that. Okay, so that is the high level meaning of a test case. Now let's understand what could be a format here. Test case is comprised of the test case identifier, test objective, prerequisites, test steps, test data, expected result, actual result. You can customize the format which fits into your context. Now this statement is very critical. So in my opinion, as I mentioned earlier, you need to understand the definition properly so that you can use that meaning, that knowledge, that input in your own context. What I mean by that, now the column that I have mentioned, the ingredient that I have mentioned, like test case identifier, test objective, prerequisite, test steps, test data, expected results, actual result, and so on and so forth. So this maybe fits into my context. Okay, now you may want to remove something as per your need, or you may want to add something as per your need. That's absolutely fine. It is just a format. I strictly refer one thing here, that don't go to a specific format. Use the format which you feel comfortable for you, as an individual, as a team, everyone agreed upon, and move along with that. Because at the end of it, it's not about the template, it's about the goal that we're trying to achieve out of that activity. So keep this in mind, and this is not applicable to test case. Anything that you do in order to achieve a testing goal. Okay, so that's about what is test case. Now let me move on to the another very very critical parameter, we understood test case, but in order to write the test case, what all things we need? No matter whether we are testing an API application, no matter whether we are testing a desktop, mobile, or web application, irrespective of the type of category of application, what all things at a tester we should know, that we should consider when it comes to writing a test cases, writing the test cases. Let's understand, very critical in my opinion, it's clarity about the problem we are trying to solve through that specific feature. Now, couple of things here I would like to mention. First thing, let's say you are testing a brand new application. Again, it could be your web, desktop, mobile, or even for that matter API. It's a one part of it, but it's a brand new. And another application here is, you're testing, let's say it is up and running, let's say for 4 or 5 years or maybe a decade or even more than that. So it's a kind of, you can say, maintenance application. We are just adding more and more functionality and testing some of those functionality or features. Now, irrespective of the contents, whether it's a brand new or the existing application where you're adding some features or one single feature, inherently we need to understand or emphasize upon it, are we really understanding what problem we're trying to solve for that feature? That is more important. Now, just pause for a minute, pause this video for a minute, and just try to relate to your day-to-day activity. Do you really care about this thing? Do you really spend time on the goal of that specific feature, or in general the whole application that trying to do for users? What kind of problems users are having, and how this specific feature is going to help them in their day-to-day activity? Or in other words, how this specific feature that we're trying to implement will bring more value to the table when it comes to solving the problem through our software solution for the customer, for the end users. Keep this in mind. If you don't have that additional information, if you don't have that rigorous information, you should always make a note of these things, come up with a list of questions, reach out to the stakeholders, talk to the people who can provide you the information, or at least give you some pointers which will help you to bring that clarity. Because if that clarity is missing, then probably you may do a lot of things, but your effort may go in vain, and probability is very high. The likelihood of your efforts going in vain is very high because your lack of the clarity. Okay, so make sure you have that clarity in place, and that will help you to not just writing the test cases, but a lot of things that you do in order to complete your testing, achieve the goal of software testing. Okay, keep in mind. Now moving on to the next thing, which also plays a critical role: requirement specifications. Now there are two things here. First question that one could ask, are we really need test cases? Are we really need requirement documents, the rigorous structured requirement documents in order to write test cases? The small answer is no, and the long answer is yes. Now, what is mean by small answer no and long answer yes? The no means it's a quick answer. I would say, because if you have the clarity, if you know the problem we're trying to solve and the high level pointers to reach that level, then probably you could start validating your understanding and write some test cases, or at least test scenarios at a higher level, which will help you to drill down later stage. But you can start with that. So definitely requirements are important, but that doesn't mean that you should wait for requirements to, to write test cases. That way I said the quick answer is no, or short answer is no. Now coming to long answer, why I said yes. Yes, because if you need to go with the rigorous precision your test cases, what exactly screens, how many screens will be there, what are the permission or authorization aspects of the user, what kind of features we are going to implement, it is a single feature or multi feature, where is the impact out there, are we going to consider any specific module, or it's a spread across multiple modules, where is the impact, if that can be covered in the requirement documents, and so on and so forth. So definitely requirement documents will help you to bring more and more clarity as and when required. But yes, you shouldn't wait for writing the test cases. At the same time, requirement documents plays a critical role to make your test cases more specific and target them to a specific area that you should be targeting as a part of testing. Now moving on to the next thing, impact analysis, especially for maintenance applications. Now, what do you mean maintenance application? So in the previous part I mentioned, like let's say you have a software application up and running for, let's say, 2 decades, 3 decades, or even let's say for a year, for that matter, just year time, 12 months. Now you have certain features already out there. You are introducing new feature into the application. Now when you think of testing that specific feature, you cannot just think of that specific feature only. You need to understand which are all areas which are already implemented in their application are going to be impacted as a part of this change. So as a tester, you need to understand that, because we all talk about the regression testing, right? Change the functionality is not affecting unchanged functionality. Agree. But how do you know that? You need to have that information, right? So if you know, it's well and good. If you don't know, talk to the people, talk to stakeholders, developers, other testers within your team, business people, then product team. Talk to them, find out where things are getting impacted, and make sure that you are considering those areas, those scenarios, those use cases in your detailed scenarios and test cases. Okay. Now clarification of all the clarifications on all the doubts. This is very critical, because as a tester, one thing that you need to know is, that as a software tester, you are going to collect the information about the software. Now collecting the information, there are various ways. So one of the ways is asking questions. Now in the first point itself, I mentioned clarity about the problem we're trying to solve. There also I mentioned you need to talk to the stakeholders, ask the questions, and build the clarity about the problem we're trying to solve. Okay, but here what I'm trying to refer is, your doubts will not be answered in one way, or even for that matter, your questions may not be the all questions you may not at one go. Some set of questions will be get answered. Those answers will invite more questions. So in a way, questions will keep coming as you start building the clarity about the problem or the solution we're trying to build to solve certain problems. So keep those questions coming in a structure way. Structure way meaning, at least list them down and try to put them in a category, and make sure which priority should get those answers quickly, so that you will get a better clarity, and you should be able to, or you should be in a position to write the test cases. That way, clarifications on all the doubts that you need to have. Then inputs from stakeholders. Now you may ask questions and you will get inputs for them, which is fine. But there are certain things that developers can tell you. There are certain things where product teams can help you. There are certain things which not even developer or tester, but also support guys can help you, because they are the one who always, in touch with the actual customers, users. So that can also bring some information to a table which hasn't been yet brought to the table by the first level stakeholders, that is your developers, testers, product, or business analysts. So try to get that clarity, try to get that input from the stakeholders. Now user personas. Now what are the user personas? The people, the users who are going to use that your application. So take any application for that matter. Again, I'm not talking about API or your mobile or web or desktop. Any application will have users, right? And every user may not be admin. Every user will play certain role in that specific business workflow of their problem that they're trying to solve using your software solution. So try to understand those user personas. And I'm not talking about the authorization, authentication for specific user. I'm going beyond that. So let's say you are into admin role of that specific company who is using a software. Now there's another guy who is into accounting. So what is the role of accounting, where he or she can play a role in that specific context? So understand them, understand their journey. I have written a blog post around this user personas at a higher level, where I have tried to emphasize on some of the user personas. Irrespective of the category of application you are testing, you can use them, and try to get into those user personas while testing, and help your testing in that way. So I will just put up a link in the description of this video, and you can take a look at it. But again, this is not a only list that you can think of. Understand the what user persona means to you, and use it in your own context in a proper way. That's what I would like to conclude here about the user persona. Now test environment details, very critical. I mean, every single thing mentioned here is critical, but test environment is also very critical. Generally, I mean, I'm just talking in a general context. There's nothing that there could be additional environment also in your own context, but generally there's a dev environment, there's a test environment, there's a disaster recovery environment, and there is a production environment. Okay. So point here is, you know to understand wherever you are testing, mostly the test environment I would recommend. So make sure environment details are crystal clear to you. There's no any confusion, there's no any gap in terms of understanding. Understand what are the configurations are required. Test environment is there, but if there is something additional needs to be done in order to carry out your testing, make sure you are conscious about it. You are always keen to know the information that is missing. And if there's nothing missing, that's good, but if there is missing, it will always help you to get it at the right time. because if you don't get that information at the right time, then you will lose the time when you are supposed to spend time on testing, and you will get into the issues here I'm referring to the issues that slows down your testing, not the bugs. Understand that. So make sure you get all the test environment details at the right time. Reference documents. Now when I say reference document, it's a very generic term, but any sort of information, any sort of documentation that helps you to achieve your testing goal, and in this context writing or elaborating your test case in a proper way, any information that helps you, any document that helps you, make sure you have it in place and take a proper help of it. Now to give an example, let's say you are testing, you are trying to write a test case for, let's say, a very old application where not every single thing is documented, but there are certain documents are out there. So while writing those test case for that specific area or areas, you are taking inputs from stakeholders, you are trying to play with the application, you are taking inputs from other QAs, other teams who have worked in the past on that application. You are trying to collect the information, but at the same time there are some manuals available, help manuals, which are developed from the user perspective, not for the testing purpose. But if you just look at those documents and if you get some information which you haven't got from any resources out there, so you can take those as an input. So that could be one of the good example of reference document. So make sure you refer them and use the information or extract of that information in your test cases, which is going to help you. Okay, that way. Now moving on to the last, but again the important point, any information that can contribute to testing. So I have covered roughly 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items. But anything that comes to your mind or anything that can help you on the fly along your test cases writing journey, make sure you get that information and use in your test cases. Okay, that will when I say test case, because see, at the end of the day you are going to execute those test cases. So the information, the more specific you are in writing test cases, the more benefit it will help you in the execution phase. Now, which tool to use? I have not mentioned in the mind map here, but I personally feel, again this is on your own context. If let's say if I talk about myself, I'm more comfortable in writing test case in Excel file, Microsoft Excel. Now, some people may be comfortable writing their specific tools, which is fine. Understand, if you within your company, if there is a specific tool out there, use it, no problem. If you feel uncomfortable directly writing in the specific tool, which is also fine. Most of the times test that respective tools has some utility to upload your test case into the tool. Of course you need to put those test case in Excel file in a specific format, which can be, then only it can be imported into the tool. But use it, up to you. I mean, I prefer, do as a tester we should experiment, and not just with the application you're testing, but also whatever you do in your testing journey, make sure you experiment it. Of course there's some things we need to keep in mind, because time is very crucial, time is money, and you're not spending time unnecessary on the meaningless things. So make sure that, but I would recommend, my personal opinion, use the tool which helps you and saves the time, because that is also one of the time, because all the things activity we do, not just tester but any stakeholder who is contributing to your project, has to be, activity related to that should be time boxed. If you are wasting time, then it's not good in the context of health of your project. So make sure you're not wasting time, but finding out the smart ways. But again, experience required, so keep doing in your own space, with own speed, and let's learn out of those experiences and experiments. Then regarding the tools, again there are a lot of tools available in the market, open source tools out there. Then some HPLM is there. So that, I mean, there are many tools. I don't want to, market any specific tool here, but you can find out for your own purpose and see. But for me, Excel works very fine, and you can use any other tool available in your own context, or you can research around it. If you want, I can prepare additional videos around specific tools, test management tool. Here I am referring. So let's see if I can provide more information in other videos about it. But again, in a conclusion, I would say stick to the tool which fits in your own context, and everyone is, comfortable with that, because everyone is using different tool may not help, even though they are open source or free tools, but that won't help. Everyone need to be on the same page, and at the end of it, everyone in the team need to understand that what problem we're trying to solve. If there is a confusion, then that could, create a lot of problems at the later stage. So make sure everyone is on the same page and agreed upon what you are trying to follow. Now, that's about what is test cases, the things you need to know in order to write test cases. Now the most crucial part I would like to mention here is, food for thoughts. Before I open this or expand this specific item, let me ask you a quick question. After the question, pause the pause this video for 30 minutes and ask this question to yourself. Now, let's say in any specific in any specific project, let's say you have written 100 test cases. Now, out of that 100 test cases, have you reported bugs uh, out of those 400 test cases only? Meaning, whichever bugs you have found while testing those 100 test cases, were those bugs you have found against those test cases only, or anything that you found beyond those 100 test cases? If your answer is yes, then maybe you have written very good test cases. If your answer is no, still I would say you may have written very good test case, but testing is not limited to the test cases execution. Test cases may help you to find bugs. It may bring the confidence in the application whether things which we expect to work are working or not, which is fine. But testing is more than that. Testing is to collect the information, including finding bugs. So the reason I mentioned the example, whether if you are written 100 test cases, you found the bugs against those only, or going beyond that, you found something else also. I mean, other than the 100 test cases. And if your answer is no, then here is you need to understand, because test case may help you to identify whether things are working fine or not. But if you go beyond that, you will understand that there are other ways where you can find the bugs. There are other ways where you can collect the information about the product. See, at the end of the day, testing is about testing, telling your telling stories. Your testing story, the effort you are trying to put for testing, and the product story, the information that you have gathered in the whole journey about the product or the application being implemented. So your test case is going to help you to perform some checks, like things are working fine or pass or fail. But that is one of the way to contribute to testing, not the complete way. Meaning, you cannot completely rely on test case execution. You may find bugs along the way. Your test case may not tell you there is a bug, but while executing that test case may pass. But along that execution journey, you may find something else, which could be a bug, and very severe bug, which wasn't covered as a part of your test case. So inherently, what it signifies is testing is beyond that. Testing is not limited to writing and execution of test cases. That's what my food for thought. Let me expand it now. Okay, so test cases certainly helps in testing. However, testing shouldn't be limited to test cases writing and execution. That is a confirmatory part. Whether my feature I'm testing, the steps I'm following, if it is passing, it is passed. If it is failing, it is failed, and I'm going to report a defect about defect against it, which is fine. But that's a confirmatory part, right? So that is a confirmatory part. But your testing shouldn't be limited to that. Testing should go beyond that. What do I mean by that? We should strive for making software testing as an exploratory activity rather than just confirmatory activity. Exploratory activity means what? Exploring the application, experimenting with the ways where how you can use it, different workflows, uh, asking question to the product, becoming a friend of that application, and playing different things. Understand that you can collect the information by writing and executing test cases, but that's a limited information. You need to go beyond that, because at the end of the day, when you are as a team, you are committed to deliver a software, working software. That's a part of your profile, but bringing more value to the table is another layer. So even if you are finding defects as a team, you are fixing it and retesting and closing it and making sure that everything is working fine as committed to the customer is not a big deal. That's a commitment. Understand that. If you go beyond that, coming up with some innovation, when I say innovation is a very big broader term, it's a subjective term. Let me put it this way: if you come up with different workflows which user has not mentioned, whether customer has not mentioned or suggested, but you are telling the boss this is the way it can be more improved in terms of time and the way you are carrying out the efforts in terms of putting the information in the software, they may like it. So that is one of the way to improve the software or bringing innovation to the table. Another way, how UI is used. They may have written xyz, given xyz templates as a part of web application, but as a stakeholder, I mean not just tester but anyone in the team who is working on that project to deliver that working software to the customer, who can come up with any sort of innovation in the context of user interface, user experience, make sure that is also in place, that is also taken care, that is also one of the way to improve your software. That is also one of the way to bring value to the table, what even end user has not thought of or not even requested about it, but you are bringing to the table. That is the kind of innovation. So point is, you need to invest your time, not just testing the application by writing and executing test cases, but you need to go beyond that. You need to explain, you need to talk to the software, you need to become friend with the UI and the workflows. Talk to the, when I said talk to, I'm referring here again and again. Why I'm saying this? Because it's all about human, right? I mean, we are trying to solve the problems for human by doing some software. So make sure you talk to the human within your team, the stakeholders. And also, if you get an opportunity, well and good. If not, then reach out to the people within your context who are very much close to the users or the customers who needs the value through our software solution, and who are trying to solve their own problems. So testing is beyond that, and don't just stick to the confirmatory part, writing and executing test case, passing and failing. Yes, that important, that is critical. I will emphasize again and again, that is important, that helps you, but shouldn't be limited to that. You need to go beyond that and understand the ways. And again, there's no right way or wrong way. You can always keep experimenting, because I can tell you 10 things, but that 10 things may not be as is applicable in your own context. So you need to understand your context and use that experimentation, exploration in your own context, in your own way, and keep experimenting, so that that will gives you a way to optimize the ways you're trying to put efforts. Because at the end of time is money, and you need to use your time in a wise way, wisely, so that things can be better the way you are looking at or even planning for. So that's it from my side about the test cases. So we have seen what is test case, things you need in order to write test cases, and also some food for thought based on my experience. So as I mentioned earlier, I will be sharing the link to that blog post where I have shared this mind map, so you can download it. And also I will share a blog post regarding the user personas, which can help you to give some notion about when I say user personas in testing, what I'm referring to. So I hope you like this video. I will keep coming up with some more videos in the testing context, and try to help you based on my experience. And that's it for now. Thank you. Have a good day.